Welcome back, Blue Collar Fantasy Football. Today we have Dynasty Superflex buy lows.
The guys you want to be targeting in your leagues.
Yes, trade targets, waiver wire targets. I think most of them are going to be rostered, but you never know. Double check. People get dropped and added every week. So,
Mine are rostered.
Oh, yeah?
Mine are rostered.
I might have one or two that. No, I think they're probably all rostered.
I'm not scraping the bottom here. I'm going for championships.
Mine should. If mine aren't rostered, I'm going to be disappointed in you.
Man, no guarantees today.
Guarantees. Write that down. Write that down. Somebody get that.
All right, baby.
All right, let's do it.
Let's get it cracking. All right, boys and girls. First up on the docket. You ready?
I'm so ready.
Let's get into it. First up, we got George Pickens. So George Pickens, ECR wide receiver 29. I like to reference keep, trade, cut. I went over this in the last video. It's more of the community value, your league mates, the people you're playing against, and just the fantasy community as a whole. Their value on the players, not necessarily rankings and things like that, but it's a good just kind of see where the vibes are at with each given player.
Agreed.
So I always reference it when I'm going to do these trades and stuff. If people are through the roof, way over ECR and where your gut tells you he's at, it's not worth even wasting your time trying to acquire. So ECR 29, keep, trade, cut, wide receiver 26. So the community is a touch higher. You'll kind of see that with a lot of this stuff. We get vibes on guys. But George Pickens, he's 23 years old, finished wide receiver 22 last year. Year before that, he finished wide receiver 31. So consistent, increasing his productivity.
With bad quarterback
play. And he wasn't the number one target by any stretch of the imagination.
No.
So with his age, with seeing that progression, and with this year, with his increase of quarterback play, whether it's Wilson or whether it's Justin Fields, it will be an increase in quarterback play. And Deontay Johnson's out of town.
Yep. And he was a target hog. Has been since he's been on the Steelers.
He was the PPR machine, whereas George Pickens was just more of a downfield threat, big boom bust. I think we might see a little bit of, coming back to reality on it. You know what I mean? With it this year.
Yeah.
Or you get the best case scenario and you get more volume of ridiculousness.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So Quentin Johnson out of town. Or Deontay Johnson, sorry. We were just talking about Quentin Johnson. Deontay Johnson out of town. So last season without Deontay Johnson, he averaged 12.8 points per game and almost 80 yards per game. That 12 points per game, 12.8 fantasy points per game, put him actually at wide receiver 19 in consistency through that stretch.
It's nuts.
You know what I mean? It's crazy because it doesn't seem like a lot of points, but it ends up being that much. We just think everyone's going to score us 30 points every week.
Yeah.
Not fighting for targets anymore. He did average an insane 18 yards a reception last year. A couple of those, he was just downfield threat constantly. And Russell Wilson and Justin Fields. I'm all name self-conscious now. I have one slip up. And all these names I'm self-conscious on now. But they're both not afraid to throw that down the field.
Yep.
Russell Wilson kind of has made it's been his bread and butter.
Yeah,
it's been his moneymaker.
Cortland Sutton had 10 touchdowns last year on I want to say low 60, 63 receptions.
Yeah.
So
not afraid to throw it down the field. I think Justin Fields same way. And he might just see an increase. He's just going to see an increase in targets with that. They did draft a rookie this year. Not super, super high draft capital. He will see. I'm sure he'll see the field.
He's going to have to.
That depth chart is not.
No, it's
it's not possible for him not to. You know what I mean?
It's like Pickens, Roman Wilson, the rookie, and Calvin Austin. I think that's pretty much it for the names you've heard of.
But it makes you feel real good about George Pickens there.
Yeah.
And with the flashes you've seen. That's what we want to see when we draft these guys, and they're not Jamar Chase year one. This is what you're looking for, is these flashes of greatness, these flashes of, man, he's doing it, and he's just increasing it. His situation's improving. Also, Arthur Smith is his OC this year. I know your instant gut reaction is, oh no.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Oh
100%.
no. But just keep in mind that when AJ Brown was having his 1,000-yard seasons, Arthur Smith was the OC in Tennessee.
Yeah, and he averaged 20 yards a catch, 15 yards a catch. I mean, it's pretty similar.
Very similar. Very similar. I mean, it's very, very similar. So I think that would be a great buy low. I think 29. I mean, that's where he's been averaging his last 2 years.
Yeah.
So worst case scenario, you trade for him at that exact value.
Yep.
You're not going to lose it on that.
Well, and all you have really is to gain. I mean, if you want, everyone wants the big 50-pointer. You know what I mean?
Right.
You want that on your scorecard.
Single-handedly win your week.
Yeah, and Pickens, I mean, he did that a couple weeks. I mean, I don't know too many receivers that can catch 4 balls for 195 yards and 2 touchdowns. Average 48 yards a catch.
And on top of that, they were probably one-handers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Just
out of over
nasty,
the top of guys. Just
nasty
nuts.
catches.
One thing I also like.
Yeah.
So he kind of comes off as a prima donna-y.
Yeah.
Kind of, showing his emotions and fight, but I see it as fighting for the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Fighting for these targets.
He wants those targets.
Who was it? T.O. this offseason?
Mm-hmm.
Saying his biggest complaint about his son is he doesn't demand the ball more.
No, Marvin Harrison.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I knew it was one of the legacy.
Yeah.
But I think he does that. I mean, he keeps fighting for it. And if he does see these increase in targets, they're going to just feed him.
Yeah.
They're going to feed him and feed him and feed him.
Yep.
Just to keep moving that ball down the field. So.
And one last point. I mean, you expect all of his good games last year were against good defenses.
Yeah.
Cleveland, 18 points. Baltimore, 20 points. Rams, 10 points. Cincinnati, 31 points. That was the 4 for 195. Seattle, 13 points. I mean, I'll take those. I mean, yeah, it's going to disappoint you some weeks. There's definitely single digits on this.
Unless he's getting those increased targets.
Exactly.
If he's getting those increased targets, it's going to bring that floor so much higher. And that ceiling's not going to drop.
No.
You're keeping that ceiling and increase in your floor is just raising, guys.
Yeah.
I mean, for a wide receiver 29 value, if you're paying face value, check the temperature in your league and send some feelers out there.
And honestly, and this is my opinion, I think he has the highest single game ceiling of any wide receiver in the NFL.
Ooh.
4 for 195 and 2.
Amari Cooper, baby.
Yeah, but he didn't do it on 4 catches, did he?
No, he didn't.
Yeah, that's insane. And I understand broken plays happen. That's not an every week thing. But you want to talk best ball? Give me all the Pickens.
Yeah.
All the Pickens. That could win you $1 million right there.
Well, and I think even with, if you're in a 10-team league, I think you could end up with Pickens as your wide receiver 4.
Oh, my gosh.
You know what I mean? You're flexing them every week.
What a steal.
What a steal. What a spot to be in. You know what I mean?
100%.
And you can try to swing your rookies. Just check the temperature, send some feelers out there.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's such a safe buy low.
You
know what I mean? Instead of like my next guy, a lot of these buy lows they don't feel very safe.
No.
Like you're waiting for best case scenario to happen. Whereas George Pickens, you're almost buying him. You're buying him at his floor.
Yeah, this is a reactive thing. It's a proactive thing too. You're trying to get it before it's great, but it's also reactive. He's shown you how good he can be. So
he finished wide receiver 22 last year, 31 the year before.
It's only up.
And right now his value is, even on keep trade cut, wide receiver 26.
Yeah,
that's your league mate's value of that player. You know what I mean?
That seems so low to me.
Okay, you were good with it?
Yeah, I'm good.
Send some feelers out. Next up, so this one's less safe. So I got Kendre Miller, running back for the New Orleans Saints. I love Kendre Miller.
Same.
Pull up, if you haven't watched it yet, pull up his highlight video from his last year of college. He is slippery. He's dominant. He's running guys over. It's a heck of a watch.
Yeah, it's amazing.
But brass tacks. He is ECR RB 38. There's 32 starting running backs in the league. Keep trade cut RB 28. So again, keep trade cut a little bit higher, kind of to be expected. He is going to be only 22 years old going into the season this year. 22. And like we've said before, he still got his new car smell.
Mm-hmm.
So he actually got hurt in OTAs last year. Missed the first few games, came back, and he didn't see a whole lot of production. And then ended up getting hurt again week 10.
Yeah, he has battled some injury.
Battled some injury early on. It hurt some feelings after your rookie drafts. The guy that drafted him went through this in your leagues of going through these injuries, having essentially a roster clog. One of the main reasons he's on this list. So Kendrick Miller last year on the small sample size we do have, he did have a 24% missed tackle rate. So 1 out of every 4 times they tried to tackle him, he broke through the tackle and kept running. Averaged 3 yards after contact per attempt. So when people got their hands on him, he got an additional 3 yards after it. So he only had 10 receptions last year.
Yeah.
And got 117 yards.
Whew.
117 receiving yards. So he's averaging 11.8, I think that math is, per reception. So the downside.
It's almost George Pickens numbers, dude.
It is. It's pretty good. Actually, it's half.
I know.
It's nuts.
It's crazy.
The downside, Alvin Kamara is still there. Alvin Kamara is 26 years old. I do not think that they want to continue to give Alvin Kamara as many touches as he's been getting in the past.
No.
They want to keep him healthy through the season. The other downside I see is that they do have a similar skill set based on numbers. I mean, for rushing attempts, they're averaging dang near the same. I think Kamara is 0.1 yard higher yards per attempt.
He's at 3.9.
Yeah, and Miller is 3.8 yards per attempt. They're both low. I think it speaks more to the team than the talent.
Yeah.
I mean, hence we know Alvin Kamara's nuts.
He's the most talented.
And but Kendrick Miller, he's right there on his heels. I mean, as far as these numbers go, they're very, very comparable. I honestly do see him, if he comes into it healthy and he earns some trust in that team. I think even as soon as this coming season, I could see it going to a 60-40, a 50-50.
Yeah. I mean, Kamara's just getting older, and plus, I mean, Kamara has missed time in the past. Not extended time, but still. And I mean, if he misses any time, they could be like, okay, this kid can run. And plus, I want to say Alvin Kamara is going to be most likely gone in 2 years. Not this year, but
he has a huge cap hit, I think, next season.
Yeah.
Like $18 million.
Yeah, so he's going to be there next year for sure. But the following, I want to say they save $18 million.
I think it was 2025. So yeah, next year.
Or 26. I think they save 18. Well, they can save about $8 million if they cut him. I mean, this is being proactive.
This is being very proactive. This is it's a little bit more of a dart throw, betting on the talent, betting on just even with this production. So he's averaging 10 yards per reception. If he increases those numbers, he had 10 receptions all of last season.
Yeah.
And had this production. Get him out there, get his feet wet, get him those reps. You know what I mean? I think the talent's there. I'm very high on Kendrick Miller.
I agree.
I don't think it's going to cost you an arm and a leg. I think you could get him with next year's draft picks that you're not even worried about yet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Or an aging asset,
An aging asset. If he's on a contender's team, send him a rental. You know what I mean? Send him a Singletary and see what he says, what he comes back with. If you're not in that boat of needing him, something along those lines, I think you could definitely get him. The Saints also have a very good strength of schedule for the season.
They do.
So I think this is more of a, but you're not going to overinvest. You're not having to give up as much as you are for a George Pickens. This is adding depth to your roster with upside. I mean, it's only upside.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, and honestly, okay, I'm just going to throw a trade scenario out there, but say I was sending, you were sending me Stephon Diggs,
Mhm.
and you wanted George Pickens, Kendre Miller. Maybe your side would have to kick me a running back or something, or Tajay
A
Spears
rental.
or something. Anything. That's a huge win. I mean, if you want to age down a little
Mhm.
bit, I'm all in on that.
I would send a bigger picture trade and throw Kendre Miller as like a
Yeah, give me a little
give
bit of
me
that.
a little bit of that.
Give me a little bit of that.
all day long.
Yeah,
All day long.
I think you could steal him.
And then just sit on him.
Yep.
I mean, I do. I think the talent's there. I mean, watching those highlight reels, I know those college highlight reels are so deceiving, but it's so much fun to watch. I mean,
It
I
is.
do. I really do like Kendre Miller as a prospect, as a talent. And I think the opportunity's there. I think even with Kamara there, I don't think they want him on the field as much as they have him on the field.
Right.
And even then, I mean, he's 26. 28?
28. Yeah.
26 feels young, as now I'm saying.
Yeah, I think he's 28. Well, I'll fact check.
Yeah, please do, because I was like,
And-
that seems young.
Yeah, it does. And also, Kendre Miller, I mean, he's built the way you want a running back to be
Mhm.
built. He's 6 foot, 220. I mean,
And he's showing he has the hands.
yes,
I mean, that
Mhm.
breaks the system.
100%.
You know what I mean? And he's breaking tackles once they're making contact.
Yep. There he is.
You still scrolling?
Nope, I found him. Got.
It's because he's so much higher than Kendre is this year.
I know, it's
It's
insane.
gonna be a value. I think it's a value either way at where you're gonna get him. And I think your league mate that drafted him feels burnt.
Alvin Kamara, age 28.
I knew it. As soon as I said 26, I
Yeah.
felt weird about it.
Yeah.
When it tingles, you know something's up. But I would check the temperature.
Yep.
See where the guy's at on him. Throw him into a bigger trade.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Try to get try to take an aging usable asset, maybe like an Amari Cooper, Mike Evans,
Sure.
and then do a little trade in, throw him, another guy that you're not super stoked on that's got still that value.
Yep.
See what you can get.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
up.
Dynasty is it's water. I mean, it's
gotta be liquid.
highs and lows. All right. So my first player that I'm buying low this summer is Zamir White. Now, you've probably heard the name. You've probably seen some buy lows. Probably seen some buy lows on all these guys. But we're still undervaluing this guy, in my opinion. Right now, he's ranked at RB 28, Dynasty Superflex rankings. His ECR overall, 109. I don't get it.
Yeah, they're asleep at the wheel.
Yeah. I'm getting this guy, and I'm trying to get this guy in every league, every format I can, because it just makes sense. I mean, Antonio Pierce is, we've all seen the clips online. He is gritty.
Zamir White's 24.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
It is.
That's crazy.
It is. And he's been stuck behind Josh Jacobs. Kind of similar to how Kendre's been stuck behind Alvin Kamara. But yeah, he's 24. He's right in the middle of strength of schedule. They're ranked 15th. So, I mean, it's middle of the road. He's probably going to have some rough weeks, but he could have some huge boom weeks too. All of his production last year came in the last month of the season. That's when Josh Jacobs went down. I mean, it is what it is. He had a few carries, miscellaneous, spread out throughout the whole year. But this is his whole season stat lines. 104 attempts, 451 yards, 4.3 a carry, and 1 touchdown. 19 targets, 15 catches, 98 yards. I mean, those are solid numbers.
He was great end of last season.
Yeah,
I went into a redraft championship with him as my RB2.
And you probably felt pretty good about it.
Great. Felt great.
And, the yards per attempt also, a lot of those were just carries that were relieving Josh Jacobs, giving him a breather during the middle of the season. So, he had no flow. He couldn't really get into it. It was, it's third down. Zamir, go. That's hard for a running back to eat. They need to, get the workload.
Get the reps.
Yes. And when he did get the workload, he succeeded. When he got over 50% snap share, his lowest points was 10 PPR points a week. So, I mean, he can be explosive too. Week 18 versus Kansas City, which was a great defense last year.
Yeah.
Nobody can argue that. He had 22 attempts, 145 yards. That's 6.6 a carry. I mean, that's bananas. You don't see 6.6 a carry.
And the Raiders aren't afraid to just give the same guy the ball.
Feed him.
Then feed him and feed him and feed him and feed him.
Yeah.
We watched him do it with Josh Jacobs last year, and they watched him do nothing.
Yeah.
And just kept doing it.
It was crazy. But he's a late round steal in Dynasty. And running back in Dynasty is not a necessity, in my opinion. I think with how many wide receiver positions, how many quarterback positions you have, I think you should be targeting these zero running. I'm talking startup drafts. I apologize. But you need to be targeting these zero running back teams where Zamir White, 10th, 11th round.
Yeah.
He's going to be the workhorse. I'm sorry. I'm not afraid of Amir Abdullah and Dylan Labe.
Yeah.
I mean.
No, I agree.
Because Dylan Labe and, honestly, Amir Abdullah, they're receiving backs.
So, and even once your team's established, so like right now on one of my Dynasty teams, I am shopping like DeAndre Swift. Even I have Breece Hall. I'm even shopping him. Whereas I'm hoarding Zamir Whites, Mike Singletary's, these kind of Band-Aid guys to get you through. Yep. Even like a Zach Moss would be a great one this year.
Yeah, I love Zach Moss.
You know what I mean?
Year.
These guys that can just fill that role for you. Well, you can take these, your draft pick superstars, all these guys, and you can turn them into these long-term assets.
Yep.
Zamir White is a fantastic Band-Aid running back that I would feel I'm going to start him probably every week going into the season.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I feel better going into this season. I feel much better with the Zamir White than I do with a DeAndre Swift. With these middle of the pack running backs that you're going to overpay for. I mean, look at the production of these running backs the last few years. Their value on your roster is just decreasing between the points they're putting up, the injuries they're taking, compared to these wide receivers that are putting up monster numbers, 100%. Monster weeks. George Pickens, Amari Cooper, these guys are breaking the system.
Yeah.
If you don't have one of the top four guys, you have RB2s.
Well, and on top of that, I mean, this is how you win a championship. Let's keep talking Raiders here. Think about Josh Jacobs 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he was going like RB18 or whatever it was. Yeah. It wasn't high at all.
No.
Everybody was out. And then he was RB1. He had like 1,700 yards of rushing. And, I mean, he destroyed fantasy.
All it takes nowadays to be a top 20 running back is health and opportunity.
Yep.
Literally all it takes. I think Joe Mixon is a fantastic example of that. Opportunity and health. And you will have a top 25 running back with middle of the pack talent.
Because, think about your roster construction. Okay, we'll say you drafted two great quarterbacks. Perfect. You are
there's 50 points a week.
Yeah. And now you're hammering wide receivers because you want to do this zero running back strategy. And it turns out, Brandon Ayuk is my third wide receiver. That might be a little too high, but okay, Stephon Diggs is my third wide receiver, and George Pickens is going to be in my flex.
Yep.
Oh, thank you.
George Pickens and Amari Cooper.
And I grabbed a good tight end. I grabbed a Dalton, maybe not Dalton Kincaid, maybe a Kittle. And now I'm starting Zamir White and etc.
Yeah.
Zach Moss every week. Okay, there's 10 points a week minimum in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see how you lose.
Yep. They're just the running backs overall they're devaluing.
Yeah.
I've seen leagues where they're doing like a running back premium.
Yeah.
Because it's shifted so hard. You know what I mean? Where they're getting like a percentage of a point per attempt.
That's not
try to balance it out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So check your league settings. I mean, honestly, I think your middle of the pack running backs, they're all the same.
Yeah.
They're all the same. You're betting on health.
Yeah, if you're not top 10, you might as well be 30. I mean,
health and opportunity.
Yeah,
is literally it. And then a team that's going to see the red zone, preferably.
Yeah, and I mean, it comes and goes fast. I mean, look at Austin Eckler, top 5 running back, and last year he looked like a ghost.
Yep.
So be ahead of the game. Grab these young guys that haven't even had a chance yet.
Yep.
So, all right.
I could not agree more.
Okay, ready to move on?
Let's do it.
Okay, so our last buy low. The Green Bay Packers wide receivers. I was gonna actually do Christian Watson for this, but then I started going through this team, and it's like these guys are all wide receiver values.
Yeah.
Now the problem, you might not pick the right one each week.
Yeah.
That's the hard part.
And you probably don't want to send a trade offer for Reed right now.
Yeah.
Reed, probably the only one.
He's the only one that's maybe a little too high.
Yep.
So I'm gonna go through these guys, and then step in if you have something to say. And then we can recap
Christian
at the end.
Watson. Sorry, I got stats pulled up. I just saw it was like right there. I was like, "Oof,
yeah,
it's a good name for this list."
So we're gonna start with Jaden Reed. ECR right now overall 92. Wide receiver 36. From week 10, and this is going to be a lot of me reading, but I got notes.
Spark notes.
Yeah, Spark notes. From week 10 on, he dropped below 10 points once. Talk about consistency. And that was against the Chiefs. A great pass defense. He saw a lot of Snead and McDuffie in that game, so he wasn't seeing these third string wide receivers at this point.
Can I interrupt you already?
Yeah, let's hear it.
What was Reed's ECR?
ECR 92 overall.
Do you have a wide receiver rank on that?
36.
So on Keep Trade Cut, he's wide receiver 30.
So he's rising.
I was wondering how big that difference was because it seems, in my league at least, I know he's on starting rosters.
Yeah,
all over the place.
Yeah.
So I felt like it was higher than that. So I knew Keep Trade Cut would be higher.
Yeah.
I just wasn't sure.
Yeah.
It seemed like just like the on the like in the leagues the vibe
yeah.
and the value seems much higher than that.
And plus he has the not benefit for buy low, but this can benefit you. The second half of seasons, these rookie wide receivers break out. It's like clockwork. Justin Jefferson, same exact thing. I mean, the second half is, if you see that opportunity mid-season, jump, grab those rookies. Because they're going to get fed at the end of the season when the team has lost hope or the team needs something new to spice up the offense. That's the opportunity to grab these guys.
Yep. So
I'm going to move on to Christian Watson. ECR overall, 121. Wide receiver, 46. He has had an injury-riddled career, and he hasn't been around that long. But when he's healthy, he's a touchdown monster.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I want to say his rookie year, he had like 9 touchdowns, something like that.
Yes.
And, I mean, in that same game that Reed struggled against the Chiefs, Watson dominated. He had 7 catches, 71 yards, 2 touchdowns. I mean, it's hard because he is so high-low because you don't know when he's going to be on the field. But this offseason, he was working with a university. I actually did not know which university it was, but they found that he has a 20% muscle mass imbalance in his legs.
Wow.
Yeah, huge difference. And he's working on getting it closer to 8 to 10%. And everything I've been reading on Christian Watson is that he looks fantastic this offseason. Like a new player. And if he's on, he could seriously be the wide receiver 1 in this offense. Easy. Red zone threat, 100%.
And don't forget, he finished wide receiver 25 his rookie season.
And in a short amount of time, I want to say.
Short amount of time. Yep. So it's not out of nowhere.
No. But with all the injuries, he is definitely a buy low. People might be ready to get rid of him. They might have given up a little too early.
He literally didn't score over 8 points until like the second half of the season, after like week 10.
Yeah.
And finished wide receiver 25.
Again, rookie breakout, second half of the season. I mean, it's a no-brainer, guys. Okay, Romeo Doubs. ECR 139, wide receiver 54. I mean, he's a hard one because 2023, he didn't have a very good season. He was very touchdown dependent. 59 catches, 674 yards, but he had 8 touchdowns. And I mean, you go to that crazy Cowboys-Packers game in the wild card round, he had 6 catches, 151 yards, and a touchdown. I mean, that's what you want to see if he's, out of a guy who has the potential. I mean, any of these guys have the potential to be a wide receiver 1.
For sure. Any of these guys were startable.
Yes.
Like any week.
Yeah.
Do you foresee it being more of a Kansas City Chiefs situation?
I think it's similar, for sure.
Where they're spreading the ball out, which is great for NFL. It's great for NFL.
Mm-hmm.
Any guy can get it at any time.
Yeah.
For us, though, it is a downside. Do you see it more like do you think that one is going to break from the pack?
So, no.
Get it? Break from the pack?
Oh.
Yeah, I know.
Jeez.
Pretty good.
Can you guess who's the dad in this? In this?
It's not my fault you didn't get it, man. It's not my fault.
Yes, I do see it similar to Kansas City, but the difference is the Packers throw their touchdowns to wide receivers, not tight ends and running backs.
That's fair. Do you foresee though? Like, do you foresee one guy breaking out and being? You're a Packers fan,
yeah.
So that's why I'm reason I'm
for sure
going into this.
Yeah, let's get into it.
Do you see for your team? Do you see a superstar emerging, or do you see like a Rashee Rice emerging, or like a Deontay Johnson emerging?
I think
like a safety net.
So
versus a
super
high upside guy. Do you get what I'm saying?
I do. Okay, I'll break it into like.
I know it's player based. That's hard.
It is hard.
You watched the games.
So okay, if I
intently last year.
Yeah, if I had to comp a couple of these wide receivers,
I should probably call your dad to get the answer to this question.
A Packers
he probably knows the stats.
Yeah, but okay, so I see this honestly, and forgive me, Packers fans. I'm not saying we're the Pittsburgh Steelers, but I see Christian Watson as a George Pickens because I think he has that upside.
Okay.
I think like the Deontay Johnson role from previous years, I think it's kind of going to bounce between Romeo Doubs and Jaden Reed, but Jaden Reed showed great upside this year, and he's more electric than a Deontay Johnson.
He also it seemed like he showed reliability.
Yes, and they're not afraid to hand him off the ball.
And like the big moment,
yeah,
it seemed like he didn't shy away at all.
We almost used him as like a Debo Samuel light kind of thing.
Sweet.
I mean, yeah, feed him.
So if you had to project one guy to take a step backwards,
ooh. I'm gonna take Christian Watson out of that because you
can't project injury.
Exactly. I'm gonna say he's gonna succeed because I don't think he's gonna get injured, which means he'll probably succeed. It could be Romeo Doubs, but I see Romeo Doubs as the safety net.
Right.
So
it's a cluster.
And that's why I would rather grab these guys low while the Chiefs guys are going above them. They're not going high, but they're still going above them. I mean, who'd you rather have, Christian Watson or Marquise Brown if they're healthy all year?
Christian Watson.
No question in my mind.
I would rather have it.
And the rookies, we there's nothing to go off of really
we don't
there.
know.
Who knows? And with Rice's situation, I would say like Jaden Reed is our Raishi Rice kind of thing. But that doesn't even end there at Romeo Dobbs. Dontavian Wicks. I mean, he almost looks the most athletic out of all of them.
Right.
So, I mean, he had a slight breakout. 39 catches, 581 yards, 4 touchdowns. He almost had as many yards as Cortland Sutton last year. On half the catches.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I mean, honestly, I think it's the most explosive offense in the NFL, but I'm very biased.
For sure. Well, we know now.
Because you can't guard 5 guys.
You can't. No, and that's why I did the Kansas City Chiefs comp.
For sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. And honestly, there was a game or two last year where Bo Melton looked like a starting NFL wide receiver. I mean, I don't think it matters who Jordan Love throws the ball to. When he's throwing it, when he's slinging it, I mean...
Well, and multiple guys could emerge.
Yeah.
Multiple guys could emerge out of this and be great dynasty or fantasy assets.
Yeah.
You know, look at the 49ers.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're doing it super effectively. Numerous highly effective receiving options
100%.
with a receiving running back, which now the Packers do not have.
No.
I don't think that their tight ends are superstars either.
Middle of the road.
I think they're very serviceable.
That's the safety net.
That's the safety.
Yeah.
Exactly. I do. I think that's the safety net.
Yeah.
You don't got Josh Jacobs cutting into a bunch of those receptions like a healthy Aaron Jones would.
Mm-mm.
You know.
I
So
think
I don't think they're gonna be a run first this year either.
No, I don't think so. I think they'll mix it up, but I mean, in the running game, I would say Marshawn Lloyd's the biggest receiving threat out of there.
Yeah, and that's if he earns his stripes to even see a bunch of field time.
Yeah, because honestly, AJ Dillon, he's showing out in training camp, which who knows, he was pretty rough last year. Trust me, I watched it too. But
oh my goodness, that one snuck up on me.
All right, well, Dustin's getting tired over here.
No,
tired of listening to my Packers.
No, I think it's a good one because I think it's a whole. It's a great conversation because it's a very. I mean, they were productive.
Yeah,
they were productive. There was tons of points being scored there. You know, for fantasy football, for NFL, I mean, tons of opportunity there.
All the way down to their wide receiver 5.
You just didn't know where the heck it was going.
Correct.
You know, you didn't know where it was going. If you didn't have Jordan Love or whichever tight end was healthy,
mm-hmm.
you could potentially put up a goose egg
mm-hmm.
because it wasn't, you know,
yeah.
Wicks' week. It wasn't Reed's week. It wasn't Dobbs' week. And then Christian Watson was hurt.
Yeah. And I mean, honestly, Jaden Reed put up a goose in the wild card round.
Yeah.
I mean, I know we don't play fantasy into the playoffs, but Romeo Dobbs popped off. Jaden Reed barely saw the field.
If I had to pick a guy that I was going to target,
mm-hmm.
I feel pretty good actually about Christian Watson this year.
Oh, I'm in. I'm back in.
No, I am. It's not even like I want to like super highly invest in him. I'm just kind of excited for him.
Yeah. Well,
you know what I mean?
And we've seen it when he was with Aaron Rodgers his rookie season. He has that game break ability.
Mm-hmm.
He can score 3 touchdowns in a game, and it's not crazy.
No, you're not shocked.
Yeah,
I think he has the potential to break your week,
mm-hmm.
and you wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
And I think he also has the potential if he's staying on the field. Like I don't think he's going to lose your week either.
No.
You know, I think if there was one that I could potentially see emerging and the best value, I still think it's Christian Watson.
Yeah.
Like I said, I feel like the hype and the you know the morale around it. Mm-hmm. I almost feel like I could get Watson cheaper than I could get Reed right now.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean?
100%.
Like it's weird how it's flipped over an injury season.
Yeah,
with such a productive rookie season.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And the pedigree and all that. That's where so just to summarize that, like from an outsider, that's
mm-hmm.
where I'm going to target this year.
And from a more insider of the Packers than Dustin is,
yeah.
I'm grabbing Christian Watson because he's the type of guy that can catch 60 balls and have the yardage and touchdowns of a guy who caught 90.
Right.
I mean, he has that, averaging 40 yards a game, 30 yards a game ability.
Right, because if you don't have that end zone threat,
Yep.
100 receiving yards is still 10 points.
Yeah.
In your normal scoring.
And at most, he'll see your flex.
Mhm.
Where he's going right
At
now.
worst.
Yeah, you put him in the flex.
Yep. So, okay. Let us know who you're choosing.
Yeah.
If you're hyped on Reed and you're one of my league mates that's hyped on Reed, I'm telling you, dude, it's insane. Let us know. Let us know who you think it's going to be. If you made it this far, let us know what Packer you're going after, or if you're just not touching it, because that's also a very reasonable decision as well.
It is 100%
to not touch it, not get stuck holding the Sky Moore bag.
I'm grabbing all of them.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
All right.
I'm just kidding.
With that, guys, thank you for joining us. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. We're trying to be real proactive, getting back to you guys. If you guys have questions outside of this, just drop it in the comments. We're trying to watch them really diligently to get back to you guys. Kind of just give you guys some what our opinion is on it. We love it. Love hearing from you guys.
Yeah.
Seriously.
And check the links on YouTube and Facebook. We got a new TikTok. Our old one got suspended for some reason.
We got banned.
Yeah, we got
banned. One post and 11 views in. So you want some controversial stuff? That's where you find it, I guess.
Yeah, apparently. So yeah, come visit us at Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Email us questions. We'll do a mailbag, but we need questions.
Send us your trades.
We'd love to
send us trades. Outlandish. Doesn't have to be yours. It could be just things you saw. Like, I can't believe this. I would love to do a trade review.
Yeah, we'll do trade reviews. We'll do
I'd
mailbags.
love to do a trade review. Show us your wins. Show us your losses. Tell us the guys that you're gonna die on that hill for this year.
Yeah.
Seriously, I really want to get some interaction going. I want to get some mailbags, some trade reviews, things like that.
It'd be a blast.
really be exciting.
Yeah.
So with that, guys, have fun, enjoy your leagues. Let's win some championships this year. Peace.